Welcome back, everyone. I'm still the Red Man, and I'm going to try to get through this right quick because if I don't relieve myself of Brian Cashman's ineptitude soon, nary a tattered shred of sanity will remain within me. I make these videos mostly for the memes, but also because the actual magnitude of Cashman's incompetence is only truly appreciated when you consider all of his various screw-ups together. Each of his terrible decisions doesn't seem so bad individually, until you consider it with the half a dozen other terrible decisions he made within 3 months of each other. But Cashman's 2022 disaster piece is such a mess that simply roasting all of the moves he made isn't enough to fully appreciate it. We have to look at all of the stuff that Brian didn't do, and on that front, it's difficult to know where to start. I guess the list of needs from part 1 is as good a place as any. This is in no particular priority, but I'd wager most would agree that these were the holes the Yankees needed to address after the 2021 season. Then consider the staggering amount of options in free agency that Cashman had available for these positions. Starling Marte, Freddie Freeman, Trevor Story, Trash Can Man, Corey Seager, Chris Bryant. All-Stars. Now, obviously, even the Yankees couldn't go out and buy all of that, so Cashman was going to have to choose to not make a play for some of those guys. Take, for example, first base. Of the various options Cashman had available to him, he chose to re-sign Anthony Rizzo. This meant not making some extremely large phallus move for Freddie Freeman, even though Freddie Freeman is objectively better, younger, and lacks back problems. But Anthony Rizzo is still a fine first baseman, and he was about half the price that the Dodgers paid for Freddie Freeman. Why, with that money Cashman didn't spend on Freeman, he could go get another quality player. Instead of one fantastic player, we could get 2 very good players. So how about center field? Cashman took that money and paid Starling Marte, so he didn't have to suffer Aaron Hicks for another year, right?
Wrong!
Of course not. The Red Man went over in the last video about how Cashman chose to stick with Aaron Hicks in spite of every form of common sense on record, and how that cost us Jordan Montgomery in order to remedy that terrible decision. But at the time, I suppose one could have argued that Hicks, as bad as he is, was a better option at center field than anything we had for shortstop. And there's a case to be made that the free agent options for shortstop were simply better than Starling Marte, the only particularly attractive center field free agent. No homo. So one could make the case that it was smart to stick with Hicks in center field, Jesus have mercy, and instead spend all of that money on one of the several big-time shortstops available. So that's what Cashman did, right?
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
You already know that the dickweed went out and got Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, aka IKF, aka BAR, aka barely above replacement. Fantastic. Well, at least IKF didn't eat up a bunch of money, so we still have fat stacks of cash, and a potential need at third base. And the excellent third baseman Chris Bryant was available. So Cashman finally decided to spend a bunch of money and got Chris Bryant, right?
Well, you're half right.
Bryant spent a lot of money alright, but on Josh Donaldson. Absolutely galaxy brain once again. I should stress that Chris Bryant signed with the Colorado Rockies for only $5 million per year more than what the Yankees ended up paying for Josh Donaldson. The New York Yankees, fucking $6 billion franchise, just could not find that kind of money.
Oh, somebody kill me, please! Somebody kill me, please!
And that's the story of how Brian Cashman went into an offseason with a staggering amount of free agent talent and walked away with exactly none of it. Each individual decision may have been sensible, except possibly acquiring Josh Donaldson and his ludicrous salary, but all of them together didn't improve the Yankees roster on the whole even a single whit. This was total failure, and I must stress, Brian Cashman is still employed.
But wait! There's more!
There are also some hot prospects down in the minors who could fill positional needs. So surely Cashman's failure to bring in any free agent of consequence will lead to him calling up the top prospects to fill out the roster in hopes they'll reinvigorate the team. Surely!
No.
And don't call me Shirley.
Part of Cashman's baseball philosophy is you hold on to prospects until you've wasted at least a third of their career, breeding resentment and desire to escape this sinking clown boat of a franchise at the earliest opportunity, or until they are lost in the Rule 5 draft to teams who actually play their baseball players. Which brings us nicely to... Like I just said, Brian Cashman's usual philosophy regarding handling prospects is to keep them in the minors until at least half of their career has been wasted, calling them up never, and then trading them in order to acquire Joey Gallo, or Frankie Montas.
You can't keep getting away with this!
But the Yankees' August record of 10 wins to 18 losses, along with injuries to Matt Carpenter and Andrew Benintendi, was so catastrophic that even a potato-brained turd golem like Brian Cashman had to realize a change was necessary. His first move was to call up Oswaldo Cabrera to play just about every position except catcher, and Cabrera did an excellent job all over the field. Kinda made the rest of the team look like a pack of clumsy Egypts who couldn't play one position as well as Cabrera played all of them. Cabrera was also a perfectly serviceable hitter for the duration. It was great to have him on the roster. Cabrera was entirely a positive.
Oh, there's one little thing.
Why in the crikeyest fuck did we have to suffer through 2/3 of a season worth of Joey Garbo, Aaron Hicks, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and Josh Donaldson? Cabrera could have clearly replaced any of them on opening day, and if he had an entire season dealing with MLB pitching, he may have been a bit more ready to hit in the playoffs. Oh well, what's one more item on the long list of Brian Cashman's many, many screw-ups?
I am dead inside.
Speaking of screw-ups, on September 1st, Cashman also called up Oswald Peraza. Oh boy, Oswald and Oswaldo. I am way too stupid to keep that straight. Anyway, calling up Peraza was not the screw-up. That was a good idea. The screw-up was calling him up so that he could ride the bench.
Why? I can't comprehend.
As you can see here, Peraza played for a good week, did alright, then started one game between September 9th and September 25th. Service time well spent, Brian.
You dumb fuck!
Peraza played the last 5 or 6 games of the regular season and was hitting the ball well at that point, so Cashman rewarded him for his hot hitting and consistently good fielding by leaving him off the roster for the divisional series. Just could not find any room for poor Oswald with such star players like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Marwin Gonzalez, and Aaron butt-fucking Hicks on the roster.
That's the dumbest thing anybody's ever done.
So Oswald Peraza was somehow the odd man out, while Brian Cashman went into the playoffs intending to ride or die with IKF playing shortstop. No, I'm serious. The general manager of a $6 billion baseball franchise unironically decided that this was a good idea. I know it sounds like a unique blend of Down syndrome and psychopathy, but this is the current year New York Yankees. You should be used to it by now.
But wait! There's more!
Believe it or not, the IKF Forever plan went poorly. In fact, IKF almost single-handedly lost the ALDS for the Yankees with multiple errors in a 5-game series. So, for what was at least the third time just this season, one of Cashman's plans had collapsed entirely and he had to change course, and Peraza was added to the ALCS roster, where he started one game, got 3 at-bats, went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Possibly due to having spent the previous week sitting at home with his thumb up his ass because Cashman left him off the ALDS roster.
Holy shit!
That takes care of our 2 Major League prospect call-ups, but no discussion of Yankees prospects would be complete without mentioning Anthony Volpe, the poor bastard every Yankee fan can blame for Cashman not signing Trevor Story, or Corey Seager, or Trey Turner, or Xander Bogaerts, or Dansby Swanson, or any other shortstop. Anthony Volpe was the hot prospect allegedly way too good to trade for Luis Castillo, but apparently also not good enough to actually call up. But don't worry, if we're really good this Christmas, maybe we'll get to see Volpe get a half a dozen spring training at-bats before being buried back in the minors until late August, when Cashman will call him up in a desperate and obviously doomed attempt to save yet another crumbling season.
No, I'm just up here to kill myself.
I don't know how much more of Cashman's blunderous idiocy that I can take. But there's a silver lining to this bleak cloud of failure, and that is that even Hal Steinbrenner, king of the numpties, has to be gaining awareness of what a schmuck Cashman is. Each of the trades for Joey Garbo, IKF and Donaldson, and Frankie Montas were historically terrible. The Aaron Hicks, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Aroldis Chapman contracts were abject buzzards, and now Cashman's failure to extend Aaron Judge before the 2021 season cost Hal somewhere in the neighborhood of $120 million. There is no way Hal isn't running out of patience for this clownitude. Surely we are finally nearing the end of Brian Cashman's tenure as general manager. No fucking way does he survive another year of this incompetence. Why do I hear Lacrimosa building in the background?
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Really? This rebuild peaked 5 years ago, and every year since, Cashman has found a new way to fuck everything up, and Hal rewards him with a 3-year extension? Are you fucking kidding me? Well, it's been fun making these videos. I guess I'm stuck. I get to do them for another 3 years. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go drink the stuff under the sink and see what happens.